There is a moment for me where running almost became not a crutch, but a way to quiet the noise or a way of coping. 1, 2, 3 to the middle. 1, 2, 3 to the side. So let's go back again, and we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. First 10 seconds we're going slow. Next 10 seconds we're going faster, and the next 10 we're going very fast as we possibly can.
How's your arms feeling it? Yeah? Feeling it?
In my neighborhood especially, right, there's a lot of pressures everywhere you go. You walk from A to B, you'll see 5 of your friends. 3 of them would probably be doing things that you shouldn't be doing. 2 of them might be, on their way to do something that you probably shouldn't be doing. That's right. Stay nice and slow like that. Remember, good form on this one. Take it slow, right arm, and then left arm. Do another lap. We're doing 2 laps, remember. Walking put a lot of pressure, right, on the things you wore, the way people would see you. You'd have encounters. But when I would run, no one would ask me what I was doing. They would just assume I was going somewhere important. And in many cases for me, it was just to get to the bus stop. You gotta stay agile. Growing up, I come from a family of 10 total, 8 boys, 2 girls. I'm the second in the mix. A lot of responsibility, lots of pressure, a lot of noise, a lot of stress, a lot of screaming, a lot of people doing different things. Hard to remember that kid fully, but definitely very eager, energetic, curious, very adventurous. I always imagined I was very dreamy. I had a lot of imagination, and I think I constantly always feeling a little bit young, always looking forward to growing up. I did, I think, take on a lot of the responsibility myself, because without our father around, as an older boy especially, you really want to impress your parents even when they're not there. So I think for me, I was conscious of this a lot. So I took a lot of the responsibility to try to, how do you say, enforce the authority, and also try to, not lead by example, but try not to make too many obvious mistakes. I would describe myself as a person with many passions, a ton of curiosity, and someone who's pretty competitive. So I think in turn that probably led me to challenging myself in a number of different areas. And I think art was one of my first loves, and still continues to this day. There's a picture of us, all of us, after a camping trip. I had a little bit of a drawing board. My hair's a little disheveled. I have a little bit of a swag to me. I think you could see a kid there that was trying to do a lot of different things, but you could see all my hobbies all in one, right? Like, a little sporty, trying to have a little attitude, be cool. Probably look more like a dork. I had a lot of energy, so I was very curious as a kid to see what I could do with this energy. How high can I climb? How fast can I run? It was hard to imagine, I would say, what life looked like beyond 20, right? What life looked like beyond high school, what life looked like beyond kind of the next couple months even. So when I joined trails, I think I was just so incredibly encouraged by the fact that there was so much to do, so much to look forward to, right? Real things, adventures. A select group of kids are brought up to experience a camp like no other for 4 years, and then build or be part of a family that extends for a lifetime. 4 seasons, 4 years, 4 life. When I think about trails, I think of the X-Men, a bunch of amazing people, right? Kids with different challenges, different qualities and different skills and talents. With Professor Xavier times 10, right? With counselors who come from all walks of life as well, but there with the common goal to kind of enrich the experiences and bring out the best and the skills of these unique individuals, and hopefully help them use their talents for the good. This was made by Pat Bartlett. Pat ended up becoming one of the closest people in my life. So she went around all the trails and captured all these pieces of materials, and they would put them in a collage and frame it. It's where we'd go and swim all the way across, go around, and then come all the way back. When I was at Trails, I started to understand that there were, that you could look forward to things, right? Every weekend that we came, which happened every month, we would all come together, spend the weekend out in this beautiful nature, and we would develop a skill of some sort that would come into play in our summer adventure, where we would take a 2-week canoe trip or a week-long canoe trip, or in many cases hiking.
Look at this. This is when we were trapped in this tent for 4 days straight in the rain. Look at that. Look at the thing. Look at the group.
We learned how to ice fish. We would get, our CPR certification. All of these things, over years and years, I think I would say, or at least for the first couple of years, for me, started to show me that when we would go up and participate, it was for a reason. That culminated in one of the most extraordinary trips ever. Our gold award for the Duke of Edinburgh Award. We went to Wales, so we went to England, right, and then we went to the far north in Wales and climbed the highest mountain on that, bit of land, right, Snowdon. Today, that's I think a little more accessible, right, with all social media. But at that time, only the adventurers or the people who knew climbed Snowdon. And for a bunch of kids, in many cases from the inner city, doing this, I don't think any one of us would have ever imagined this. I graduated university in 2006, and I would say it was probably 2004 when I realized that I had a lot of work to do if I actually was trying to go and do something special with the sport. And it was in 2004, right, that I finally had started to experience, the possibilities with what it would mean if I were to run fast. My specific target was the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games. I started to get my stride. I had broken a school record that existed for probably 40 years before I showed up. I won the Ivy League championships in the 100 and 200 meters. I was school captain. And in the end, I did not go to the Olympics, right? I fell short of that goal. One year I was injured the entire year. I couldn't do anything. But slowly I learned so much around just how do you take care of the body? How do you work on your flexibility, your mobility? Diet, nutrition, sleep, things I took for granted my whole life. But you learn, right, in every condition. One of the most profound moments of adversity for me, it's kind of two things, right? It's the physical part, which for me was injury, and then the support, right? The at times feeling like maybe you didn't have the support or you wish you had more. And it was very difficult for me. Obviously you go within, but you definitely realize the importance of people that are really close to you, that encourage you even just a little bit. When I really understood how important it was to have that support, and it's crazy synergy between, when trails and track kind of converged for me. I was in my senior year, high school, and I had I'd put some goals for myself with track and field, and slowly I started to hit them, right? I sort of pushed myself and started to hit these goals. But I still felt this sense of struggle, right? I felt the sense of kind of not knowing exactly why, or wanting to share it. Like I couldn't really grasp, it wasn't real to me, right, the success, because it wasn't real to anyone else. And it's not to say you need their approval, but you don't do things just for yourself. Trails, again, we had incredible counselors and mentors, and I think back to a gentleman, Kevin Farrell. He was the leader at Trails at that time for our programming and a lot of for our counselors and so our curriculum. And I had a conversation with him, and I kind of just told him about what I was going through a little bit. Just said, hey, I'm going to compete. There's a lot on the line here. I'm looking to run fast so I can have these opportunities so maybe somebody will recognize or know me, right? And, you know, but I don't have anyone there, right? Like, is it possible? Sorry.
He's quite a gifted athlete, gifted runner. And he said, I have a big race tomorrow. And I said, that's great. Well, that's fun, wonderful. He goes, yeah, it's a provincial championship for Ontario. And he said, yeah, and if I do well, I'm going to get a partial scholarship to Dartmouth University in the States. And I'm like, that is fantastic. That's great. And there's a long pause. And he said,
is it possible that you can come and see me run? And he said, oh man, he said, yes, absolutely. If I can, I will. And he did. And I just remember then and there realizing how important it was that you shared it with other people. And it really made it real.
He is now in third year university at Dartmouth College. He's doing great in track. He's traveling to China and running. He's getting an opportunity of a lifetime, and he's still in touch with me on a regular basis. And so when one says, am I doing something worthwhile in my life, I kind of feel like, yeah, I'm making a difference, and that makes it very easy to work long hours and make a difference in trails.
And that led to all sorts of things. But definitely, you know, it's funny, when I think of adversity for myself personally, it's always around remembering why you do things, right? And having the people there to kind of remind you. When I go back to that moment and how powerful it was for me, I think it did a couple things that really reminded me and taught and showed me that, you know, to me it's really important to know why you do things, to share it with the people that are important to you, and to really make something real in that way. But at the same time, it reminded me how important it is just to do that, what Kevin did, right? To show up for those people, especially when they ask. I try my very best to remember this and remember how lucky I was and try to give a little bit of that to others through mentoring and through just trying to show up for those who ask, right? Even today, right? Part of our AIM program here at Trails, our mentorship program, I make sure that, we can make some time. I think Trails uniquely provides to the world, and it's such a fluffy word, but a place rooted in the most sincerest version of love. It's like any great thing, right? It's the foundation that it's built on. I think 30 years will be nothing for Trails. I think Trails will last for 100 years. You will have an adventure that will change your life. There will be adversity, there will be some challenges, but I guarantee you it's gonna all be worth it in the end. If I thought of, the difficult moments on my Olympic journey, I probably wouldn't have started. And I think that's just human nature. I wouldn't change anything. The good, the bad, I'd take it all over again to be who I am and to be where I'm at.